Nicki Chapman may lead a very glamorous life compared to most of us, but the TV presenter, who rose to fame as a judge on Pop Stars and Pop Idol in the early 2000s, found herself standing in a field of pigs last year when she received the best phone call of her life. Having undergone surgery to remove a brain tumor the size of a golf ball in 2019, the star was filming a TV show when she received the amazing news from her doctor that her tumor had disappeared and that she was being given the all-clear. "I was filming Escape to the Country, and standing in a field of pigs when my consultant phoned me," says Nicki. "He told me my brain tumor had gone. I said to him, 'Is that usual?' And he said, 'Yes, but it's quite rare.' I immediately phoned my husband Dave and we were both in tears. It was such a huge relief to us both." But while Nicki, 56, admits it was a lovely moment, she isn't complacent and knows she's been very lucky. "I know just how fortunate I am because it doesn't always work like that for many people," she says. "I still live with the fear, but I have put it into my filing cabinet, and I don't have to open it every day." Nicki knew something was seriously wrong with her when she found she wasn't able to do simple things like read or talk 4 years ago. At the time, she said, "I was trying to read an email on my computer and I couldn't quite see it and I thought that was odd. And because of my age often we put things down to other things like the menopause, so I thought, well, I'm obviously tired, I'm not concentrating." But after a break from work the symptoms returned and Nicki knew they weren't due to tiredness or the menopause. She said, "I went on holiday, felt fine, came back, did a photo shoot and that afternoon realized I couldn't see again. Then I had to do a voiceover and I couldn't speak. I walked into the edit, sat down and the editor was chatting away and I looked at him and thought, I can't talk to you." Nothing was coming out. Nicki, who's married to Dave "Shaki" Shackleton, a music producer and Sony BMG executive, has always kept her private life out of the spotlight, but tells us that she felt compelled to share her illness with the public so that others in the same position wouldn't feel so alone. She says, "I decided to speak out after my operation as I felt not only had I received the best care I could have asked for from my local hospital and the NHS, but also that my story may help others going through something similar." She adds, "It is a very frightening condition to be told you have, and also such a shock for your family, too. Fortunately, my experience was a good one, my recovery was amazing, but I still take one day at a time. I'm a very positive person, so to always put a positive spin on life has helped keep me going." We're with Nicki today to talk to her about her involvement in the Chelsea Flower Show, which she has been presenting since 2006. And the garden enthusiast tells us she loves being around nature so much that she insisted on going to the show soon after her operation. She says, "When you are told you have a condition which is life-threatening, it's a very personal matter. I remember I couldn't host the Chelsea Flower Show that year, but everyone was so kind and supportive. After surgery, my husband took me to the show in a wheelchair so I could look around, and I'm convinced that helped my recovery. This year's show will pay tribute to Elizabeth II, as well as marking the coronation of King Charles." Nicki says, "Because the late Queen was such a huge fan of the show, there will be a garden of reflection that celebrates her life, which will feature her favorite plants and also those of King Charles." The late Queen visited the Chelsea Flower Show every year since she was a child and then became patron of the Royal Horticultural Society in 1952. We will miss her this year. Nicki, who lives in Chiswick, West London, says the show appeals to so many people because it has something for everyone and that the pandemic inspired lots of people to pay more attention to nature. It's a springboard into summer, she says. Since lockdown, I think a lot of people have found a new love affair with their gardens. Even if you only have houseplants, you are still a gardener. For me, when lockdown happened, I found great pleasure being in my garden, particularly when I was recovering from surgery. Being in the garden helped me heal. Presenting the Chelsea Flower Show is quite a different vibe to the shows that originally made Nicki famous. The star spent much of the early 2000s judging wannabe singers such as Gareth Gates and Will Young with her old muckers Pete Waterman and Simon Cowell. After leaving school at 16, her career started in music PR and she went on to manage stars such as Billie Piper, Club 7 and the Spice Girls. But Nicki's in no doubt who her favorite star was to manage. It was definitely Phil Collins, she tells us. He was always my idol and I ended up being his publicist. I adored working with him and we had a great relationship and understanding. He became a huge part of my life. I grew up listening to Genesis, so I suppose that helped. Phil was a joy to work for. It's this passion and enthusiasm for everything she turns her hand to that has made Nicki hugely successful, and she credits her parents for giving her so much drive. I had a very happy upbringing and I had a lot of respect for my parents, she says. They always instilled in me the importance of being happy. I'm also used to hard work and it's easy to work hard when you love what you do. I have been lucky in my career in the sense I only do the projects I believe in, hence I love being part of the presenting team on the Chelsea Flower Show. It's the jewel in my presenting crown. Chelsea Flower Show starts Sunday on BBC One, with a 60-minute launch programme from 6 p.m.